computer. So, so last night, I'll hop right into EJ real quick since I have it open already. Now, if you guys are in the chat, y'all should have known, y'all should have made some money on EJ. Let me hide this big bat pattern real quick because this ain't even important right now. Let me hide this real quick. Let me make this right here bold. Now, this should have been definitely money-making move right here. Now, if you guys hopped into this, you should have been in this trade like up here for a sell. I sent y'all this head and shoulders, got in the sell, I hopped in and rode this joint down from about here, I want to say, I wrote it down full 96 pips on this. You can't ask for a better move than that. You got a head and shoulders, and you have the C to D completion of a Gartley pattern on there. It tapped, well, it came real close to tapping the entry, and it rejected crazy. So you got in this trade, like sometimes what I learned from Steph actually is she'll not front load, but she'll front run her trades. So, but with a trade with the entry zone this small, that's also this close to a level of support, which is right yonder, level of support right here. When I have a trade that's this close to a level of support and the entry zone is that small on it, you can actually front run this like a couple pips, because remember, these lines aren't perfectly straight lines, they are zones. So knowing that this is a zone, know that when price gets close to that zone, it might turn around, it might not hit it, it might just turn around. So with that, I want to say it came within a half a pip of actually hitting the actual entry. So with that, you just front run the thing, getting this buy and let it do what it do. Because if you go up negative like a half a pip, so what? I mean, the entry zone was only 3 pips. So I mean, if you was negative like 5 pips at one point, it's fine. Now with a move like this, what also could have happened, the reason why my entry on my pattern is all the way over here and not down here where it actually was at, I draw my patterns way far in advance. But see this diagonal trend line right here coming down, this black line, this is a daily trend line right here. There was a chance that price was going to come down, tap this trend line, and go. So by me knowing that, I knew that if price did break this green level of support right here, that I can still get in this trade for a buy off of that. But it didn't. So, still hopping to buy, roll this bad boy up as you should have. Got at least a quick little 90 pip move off of that. So that's 90 pips up, 90 pips down on that. It's 180 pips that could have been caught with 0 drawdown on it. Now, the next setup on this was the big bat pattern, which I just told you guys. I just ghosted out just now. Let me actually let me hide this Gartley and let me make this a bat bold. So I dropped this bat pattern, I want to say Sunday, early Sunday, or Sunday night with that Friday. It really does not matter when I drop this pattern. Either way it go, when I drop this pattern, it already started making this move. So I want to say price was somewhere in this general area right here. Looking into this arrow. Price was somewhere in this general area right here. And let me mute everybody. Everybody getting muted. Price, like I said, price is somewhere in this general area right here. So it already had made a low push up, but when you see a move like this happen, like for instance, bam, it was already up 45 pips. 45 pips is a good chunk of, of pippage you could have had already. But, I'll say fear not, but don't stress, because last night, for anybody who hopped on my little quick chart markup, I showed you guys how to get back in this trade. Well, how to get in this trade if you missed the original entry. Now, this is things to look out for. As I told you guys, trading is simple, but it's a lot of information to take in. So, number one, I had a level of support. This green means that it's on a 1 hour level it was drawn on. Level of support, another level of support, both drawn on the 1 hour time frame. Now, I made this bold just so you can see them. I have a daily diagonal trend line right here coming down. Now, the reason why I need this information, why this information matters, is because by me knowing that there's a level of support right here, and my 886 entry is also right here for my bat pattern, I know that's my area to get in this trade. I missed it, but price did this is not guaranteed. Did this thing that it always does. It comes straight to a trend line, and if it can't break it, it'll reject it. You see it rejected it, went right back to entry, gained momentum, and then broke it. Now, with this break, I told you guys last night, you can either get in this on you could have gotten this trade on a buy stop, in this green box, or buy limit if you missed it. So your buy limit would have been when price was either right here or right here. Your buy limit would have been when price came back to this green box. Now you're wondering, how did I know that price was going to come back to that green box? Mainly because I have this big daily trend line right here. See this big diagonal trend line right here coming down? This is a daily trend line. So I knew that price needed some momentum to break through it. And when it breaks it, it usually comes back for a retest. It's not guaranteed. That's why I told you guys, you can do a buy stop on this and just ride it straight through, which would have been fine too. If you wrote it straight up from, I want to say price somewhere around here. I can't remember exactly where it was at, but if you wrote it straight through here, you'd have been fine too. You would have came up at least a minimum of, from this green box entry, minimum 40 pips. Well, yeah, 40 pips. And price is out now, it's up 75 pips. So, I mean, even if you caught 40 pips off that, that's still good. If you would just bought that on a buy stop, coming through this green box, you'd have been fine. Or if you got a buy limit, you'd have been fine too. You would have had basically no drawdown on this if you got in at this point. If you got in at this point, you'd have been negative maybe a couple pips, but a couple of pips ain't nothing. It ain't nothing with 2 F's and an I-N at the end. N-U-F-F-I-N. 10 pips drawdown for 40 pips. That's a pretty good risk to reward ratio. But I mean, I know the ideal would have been down here at the beginning, but if you missed it, there was still a chance to re-enter. Now, I know all you guys know that I love my trend lines for a reason, because these trend lines that have you on point, man. The trend lines will show you what price is trying to do and what price might want to go at. Let me erase this off here because this ain't important no more. Price will show you what it wants to do, where it wants to go at. Like, and that's just that EJ move. So what I expect for EJ to do right now, don't know. I'm not even really looking at it, but looking at it now, what I see, now that I said that, let me drop a quick line on a 1 hour time frame. So I'll make this one green too. If I drop a little quick line right here, this is why I don't do every line, because look how many 1 hour lines are on here. It's ridiculous. There are freaking ridiculous amount of 1 hour lines. I'm going to erase this right here too, because that was from a different pattern, wasn't it? I don't know what that was from. But there's a level right there too where that sell line set was at. Oh, that was from this over here. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that sell was valid too. But either way go, you guys see that this line I just dropped, where's it at? Right here, where price is actually at right now. I made this one pink. Where price is at right now, there's a chance that price can do this. Remember, price never moves in a perfectly straight line. Price could come back down, tap on this support, make its way uptown, and at least get to up here. Now, why do I expect it to get up there? Because y'all know with these trend lines, price gets stuck in these channels and it doesn't just blow straight through a trend line. Let me actually go out further so I can see more mess of lines. I'm actually going to erase all these right here because I don't need these on here. There's so much lines on here. This is why I said I'm going to erase like everything off all my charts and go from scratch, because I always see something new. And okay, look at all these diagonal daily trend lines on here. I'm making all of them bold so you guys can see them. Look at all these diagonal trend lines coming down. Now I probably can draw more in here if I were to just like drag and copy them over, but look how they've been respected. Look at that. Look at these taps on it. And again, it's fine to have, you know, a messy chart. If you can read it, it's fine to have, the more information, the better. It's gonna make it the more information you have. Man, that's almost scared me just now. Everybody muted. Bam. So having a messy chart is fine if you can read it. So let me go to a hotspot zone. Bam. Look at that touch. Look at those touches on this diagonal trend line. Look at all the respect. I'm showing you this for a reason. All that respect. Now this is all, I make this line right here. I'll make it pink so it stands out also. Well, I'll do purple. All this is, well, and this also, let me actually ghost out this this bat pattern because it's not too important to what's going on right now. Bam. Now, let me actually look at touches on that. It's touching up there too. All this is showing you is that every time price comes to this line, it rejects. So even if price decides it's just time to go up, it's going to touch this line and probably reject first. So, I mean, again, the trend line is just going to show you, it's showing what price is doing overall. Price is stuck in this channel. Price is playing the top side now, which is my favorite thing to show you guys and favorite thing to draw, is when a trend line is playing a side of, you see, it's playing the top side of this black trend line right here. So it's probably going to tap this, come back down, and go up to this again. And it's your chance for either to sell again, or, you know, you can ride this thing up after it comes back down and test this line. Though, if it doesn't come back down and test this line, I'm not riding this thing back up. because this looks the price keep on pushing up. But it looks like what's going to happen is hit the pink line down to 1 hour support and then push up to the purple line. I'm really going to erase this whole chart though, because this joint is convoluted. Now I'm going to go peek at gold, which you guys saw. I dropped you a quick little gold earlier. I dropped you guys gold earlier when it was fresh at C point. Now, the reason why I said I was not buying this at the end of this pattern, I told you guys before on a different class on an earlier session, is that just because you have a pattern is not just confirmation to get into a trade. Like, a pattern is not confirmation to get into a trade. A pattern is a possibility of what can happen. Like on that EJ trade I just showed you guys with the EJ. Let me see. Yeah, the EJ trade I showed you guys just now, I had confirmations. I had my A86 was at a level of support. I have this trend line coming down, which it needed to break and go back up. I had all this confirmation over here. But on gold, all we have is a gap. You have a big old gap right here. Now, depending on your broker, it depends on how this gap is going to look on here. Now, there was 2 possibilities on here. Now, this one was the first one. Let me actually go to the chat real quick and show you guys more from earlier. For you guys who was not it, know what I'm talking about. Hold up real quick. It was right here. Bam. Look at that. Now, you could have caught that and rode that joint down easily to, let me see, easy low, they went 150 pips. But if you rode it just to the entry of this, you would have still got 86 pips off of that. I know some people did actually hop into that. So that's the easy 86 pips that could have been caught right there, or 150 pips. Now, the reason why I said I was not buying at this point is because there's like no major level of support right here. There's no nothing. It made a new level of support, but it was not previously there. So let me actually ghost this out real quick. Ghost you. So now I bet you if I drop a line right here, you guys will see now this is the level of support. Now I made it pink just so it stands out. But let me zoom all the way out. And like I went over yesterday on a quick little charting class, is that I got lines everywhere. But basically, gold is now playing over here. Gold still has to fill this gap right here. Like this gap is gonna get filled at some point. And when it does, I know people right now are waiting on it. People have been waiting on gold to sell for the past couple of weeks. So honestly, at least the last 2 weeks, people waiting on gold to sell. And it's been pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. With all this war talking stuff, you see this giant price opened up here, which was crazy high. How big was that gap? From Friday, 350 pip gap. Anyone who's in that buy, just holding that, made off with a major bag. But I know most people caught the sell from here to down, which is fine because yes, I did have this pattern right here drawn up and it got blown through, but I had another pattern I saw in here, but I was a little iffy about it, mainly because this right here, though it is technically the bottom of a candle, it is all still part of this same move. Like all this right here is one move, even though it's nothing right here. This is all still part of this one push-up move right here. So what I did earlier was just to test it out and see what was going to happen. I grabbed my Fibonacci tool and I grabbed from the bottom of this candle, which again, I know this gap right here still needs to be filled, but I grabbed from the bottom of this candle to the top of that candle to see what I had. Now, I saw that price still came down past my 618 for my Gartley. You see 618 right here? My retracement came past 618. Like, okay, I got a Gartley. What did my hypothetical C go through? I can't talk about all day. I said through, not to. So let's just say, I'm going to say X. Remember, these are hypothetical because this is a funky gap / candle right here. So I'm just going to say X, and I'm going to say A, and I'm going to say hypothetical B. Major hypothetical right there because this joint is funky. Let me make this smaller too because that is huge and that's too small. And hypothetical X, I made these small because these joints, again, it's real funky over here. So hypothetical A, hypothetical B, which is right here, hypothetical C, which would have been the top right here, instead of being to the far, instead of being over here. Just follow me for a second so I can show you guys what I'm talking about, show you how ugly this pattern was. But this pattern was still valid. It's still valid, but it was very ugly. So let me erase this. Now, Let me fib from A to B. What do I have? I have a 618 touch exactly. That's all I need for my Gartley is a 618 touch. It touched it. Bam. So that C is valid. So now that I have that, I can take my 886 area, which you guys can't barely see because it's covered up, but it is, oh, whackness. I'll flip to the side real quick. I'll flip the side that it's on real quick. Let me put this on the left. So 886, you see right there? Look where price came at, right to 886, right here. And again, this joint is ugly, but it still went off the right way it's supposed to. So I got my 886, and now I go from B to C to get my money zone. This is backwards. Oh, this is backwards. So flip this to the other side so you guys can see it. To the right. 1272, 886 are almost in the same exact spot. And look where price came at. It came right to it. So now I can erase that fib because that is very convoluted. And I can draw my very janky pattern on here that I don't even know if I would take because of this gap right here. But this is the X to A to B, B to C, C to D, which is all the way over here at 86. Let me make this joint bold so you guys can see it. That is an ugly pattern. Like one of them scanner patterns right there. Ain't nothing wrong with the scanner, but the scanner be having some janky looking patterns. And the pattern don't gotta be pretty, but as long as the pattern does what it's supposed to do, it don't matter how pretty or how ugly it is, as long as it does its job. So you see where 886 was at, right? If I would have taken this ugly one right here, and it would have been a really small drawdown on this. It would have only been a 20 pip drawdown, and you got at least 50 pips on this. So I mean, that's a pretty good risk to reward on here. Now, I did not drop this second pattern to you guys because, again, I wouldn't take it myself, mainly because this X is not really part of an impulse. The impulse actually starts down here, but it's just a giant gap right here. And we all know price does not move perfectly in the straight line all the time. Yes, gold has been pushing, but it does not always move in a perfectly straight line. So there was no guarantee that price was going to turn around to 86 right here. That's why I did not drop this one for you guys. But I did see it earlier, and I was like, I don't like it, but that is that money zone right there. It's actually smaller than that because the 1272 and 86 were right on top of each other. Like they were stacked up, like they were doing gang signs. It was real stacking. But now that I drew that line right there, you guys will see that there's actually a nice little zone that price is stuck in. Let me draw this line right here real quick. Look at these two pink lines. Price is right. This is playing in this zone. See that momentum on this is just like dying? These candles getting real small. These wicks getting real little. You know, it's like dying right here in this little slow area. Is there news coming up? Let us see. And yellow folders everywhere. Now, a lot of y'all know, sometimes these yellow folders will hit hard. They hit real hard. Now, we all know that NFP is Friday. This red folder right here might not do anything, honestly. It might not do a single thing for US dollar because NFP is Friday. So when they do an NFP week, for the most part, I'm gonna say 9 times out of 10, if you have a red folder right before it, it don't do much. But then when that NFP folder hit, it's taking some bodies. So this red folder right here, this is the employment change, might not do anything. This is just a folder that's gonna update about NFP. The real NFP folder is right there. That's what it is right there. CAD, USD, that's it real. This one right here might do something as AUD, retail sales. I don't expect the other red ones to do anything super major on there. Just for a heads up. Hold it real quick. Let me see what this chat got going on. Oh, okay, never mind. This is Ray talking. This is Ray talking about what's going on. We're talking about gold. So back to this. Look how price is just stuck in this channel. So for all I know, it's not a prediction. This is not a signal. Price might push to the top of this again and then make its way down. But either way it goes, this gap, it's gonna get filled. Now I'm not saying it's gonna get filled today. It might not get filled tomorrow, but it has to get filled. It's not just gonna be like that. So if we're all waiting on a major drop on gold, the last major level of support that gold had actually is this black line right here. Now I made this nice and bold, so when I zoom out, you guys can see that, and this chart is messy, but either way go, this right here, I mean, this is a nice bold one, hotspot, bam, right there's a touch of that black line. All of these touches on this black line right here, this is the major zone right here where gold is at. And this is why everyone wanted gold to sell, because this zone was so major. But now gold is above that zone. So again, what can happen is, and yeah, I covered this yesterday, but it makes no difference because everybody wasn't on here yesterday. It was a little impromptu class. What can be happening though is gold's gonna come down here and find support on this, or push right under it, find support, and then head on up, if it's not gonna make a big dive down. And that's my quote unquote gold prediction. I never really predict on gold, because I usually give scenarios of if then, because you can't just look at a move like, all right, it's going to sell, it's selling. Look at it as an if then. You need confirmation to get into a trade anyway. So with an if then situation, for example, I give you, if price breaks this pink line, which is 1562.25, then I will be selling. But not enough to break it if it closes under it. See, all these wicks didn't close, it just wick. But if gold breaks, if gold closes under these points right here, then I'm gonna sell this joint. If it don't, I'm not going to. It's just that simple. Like literally just that simple. And that's the reason why I need to have if-then situations when you think about trading, because nothing in trading is guaranteed except that an L is coming around the corner. And I'm not talking about my first name. An L is coming. It's coming. It's always on the horizon that you can take an L. But you can minimize those and get a lot of W's just by, following your rules and only hopping in a trade if it follows your rules. So let me actually hide this other Gartley too. I'm going to have stuff all over here. I'm going to erase this whole chart too. Everything getting erased. New year, new charts. So let me actually adjust this real quick. Let me adjust you. Let's see what I got. I love my trend lines now. Then let's see what we got going on with this trend line right here. Because remember, trend line has to go through wicks. So wicks. So we got some wicks right there, some wicks right there. And this right here ain't the sexiest, but you guys see what it's doing here. And this is why I also extend my trend lines in each direction. Now, I know I got trend lines going everywhere over here. Now, I'll show you guys why I have so many in a second. But look at how far in the past this same trend line goes and it's still valid. Like, look at this. Price rode up this trend line so many times. Look at that big rejection right there. All just to come back to this same trend line in the future. And this is why I extend my trend line so far in the future in the past, because these lines come back over and over and over. What I'm doing though is going through and erasing trends that I don't need. So for instance, if I have a trend that's like so far out the game, it don't matter. For instance, like this one down here. Yes, this trend is valid, but it's so far out the game. Gold ain't nowhere near this, and it ain't probably gonna be nowhere near this in a long time. Like this black one at the bottom. You see this? Gold is so far out the realm of this right now that unless something catastrophic happened like 2018 December, where stuff just drops like 500 pips in one day or 1,200 pips in one day, this black line is probably not coming to play anytime soon. If it does, I can just always just redraw it. Like it's just that simple. All these pink lines down here, they're all like jumbled up. I'm gonna erase all those joints too, because all of these trend lines were all for all this movement, and we definitely ate off of this, off these patterns off of here, all mixed up inside there. Got pattern. This Gartley right here, man, this little Gartley right here. Now I caught some pips off this Gartley. What's funny is look at this purple trend line I just drew. It actually came right to the entry of that Gartley too, which is pretty funny because that's how trend lines work. Like trends can be going every which direction, and I know a lot of lines confuse some people. But these trends don't lie. People say the trend is your friend, they ain't joking. Now, on this little gold Gartley that I dropped for you guys, I caught those 55 pips right there. Now, I had my chance for re-entry right here. I did not enter off that right there. And then this joint went crazy. I wish I would have entered off of that. But you win some, you lose some. That wasn't really a loss because I wasn't in. I wasn't in for a sell at all. But you want some to lose some. I definitely should have re-entered on that, because look what I was showing you guys up top with the with gold being the I can't talk at all today. With the gold being in between two trends or two levels of support and resistance. And this line bold, so you guys see what I'm talking about. That's one, and this is two. Look how price was just in the middle of the zone and hit the bottom of this and jumped off and did that same ideal move that we all know and love: the break, the retest, the rejection. It did it. And it did it again to the next level. And this is why I love gold so much. Like, it did it again. Look at this black diagonal daily trend line right here. It had a break, a retest, a rejection. And then went right to the next pink trend line. It had a break, a retest, a rejection. Like, it just literally just stair-stepped its way up. And being in this, like, it makes life so much easier. Another example up here. And again, this is why I use so many trend lines on gold. This point, what's the sell point right here for? Oh, this is drawn for a different pattern. Yes, it's drawn for a different pattern. Don't worry about this sell line. That can actually go away. Because I need to start erasing some of my lines off here. That line was from way back when, over here, when it sold. But never mind that. Up here. So my other entry on this, which I could have got in this trade and didn't get, I was telling Lamar about this on Friday, because I saw this on Friday. Was this Friday? No, whenever the second was that Thursday. I saw this on Thursday when I saw gold setting up for this right here. Now, at the time, group chat was dead. I wasn't really sending out no signals. I was like, I'm gonna let this thing ride. Look at this freaking candle right here. That's definitely a turnaround candle right there. Look at this. Look at the structure that was set up on this. It did the same move that gold loves to do. It broke this trend. See this pink line? This is the trend. Broke it. Came back to it. Rejected it. And this was a hard rejection. Like, gold had just been breaking and retesting, making new higher highs. And even on top of that, there's another trend line right here. And I know, again, multiple trend lines might confuse some people, but just look at how, this is the reason how I end up getting so many trends on here, is because I'll start off with one trend, and then I'll go away from the chart and come back to it and see something else on here. I don't know if you guys ever remember in school, they would tell you, like, to, if you're doing a project or if you're doing like a paper or something like that, put it down for a second and then come back to it. You will see something different on it. Like, that's with anything. I do art, and so art is the same thing. They say turn the picture upside down so you get it, so you can get the full view of it. Turn it upside down. Now, looking at this, you'll see that with this break and retest and rejection, you got a hard beeline to the top of there. Look at that. And this is all part of that same gap. So if anyone would have just held that, you'd have been up 600 pips over the weekend, easily. Like, easily 600 pips over the weekend. Let me erase all these dang arrows on here, because there's so many. The rectangles can go to. Everything can go. But yeah, what I expect on gold is if gold breaks this under these points right here, it's going to at least sell down to this, at least fill this gap and then make its way back up. If it doesn't make its way back up right from there, it's hard. If it goes any higher, just know it's on a rise. But know that a sell-off is coming at some point. But it usually doesn't come when everyone was expecting it to. But you guys could have got some of this right here on this corner. That was a quick 30 minutes I was talking just now. I was talking my behind off. Talking to nobody. You know what's funny? I do Facebook Live videos. I was doing a Facebook Live video one time. I was talking about Forex. And it was very hard for me to just sit on there and talk about it without a subject. So I had to close it out and come back with some charts pulled up so I have something to actually, put a subject on. Because without that, it makes it real hard to sit here talking. Like right now, I'm showing you guys what's going on. So I'm more of explaining than I am talking. But when I was doing that Facebook Live last week, it was like cake because I had my subjects I was going to talk about. I just went over my subjects I was going to talk about. So, it makes life way easier. So the reason I'm saying that is because if you guys want to hop on, a Facebook Live or a live video in general and talk about trading and talk about Forex or get somebody into it, at least have your subjects of what you're going to talk about dealing with it. What I'll do when I come on here, I do this right here too. If I don't have a specific pair I want to look at, I'll go flip to my charts and see if I see something I want to teach you guys, and I'll write it down in this little notepad right here. So every class, I'll write down like, okay, it's a GA, it's a bat pattern, this is a EU, this is a bat pattern, whatever I have on there, I'll write it down on there. So every time I do a class, you guys see that. There's little notes on here that are showing that, hey, okay, look at this pair and this is what's on it. This is what I see. Just a quick little heads up. Now, let me see what else I see, man. This joint here too, Chef JPY. And I dropped this to y'all too, and this joint went stupid. Beyond stupid. That's ridiculous. 360 pips up off a freaking Gartley pattern. But that was a very, very nice move. I want to say one of my goals this year, I want to incorporate the shark pattern into my repertoire of things that I can trade. because right now it's mainly just the cipher. Well, it's the cipher, Gartley, bat, head and shoulders. That's the only patterns that I trade. Now, the head and shoulders ain't so much a pattern as it is just a formation that happens over and over. I mean, I guess it's a pattern because it's a head and shoulders. But one thing I don't like with the head and shoulders is when crap like this happens, when you expect it to drop, and then it's like, nope, fake out, and we're going back up. Can't stand it. But it happens, because if it happened the right way every single time, everyone would be doing it and everyone would be winning. And trading life would be way too easy. If it was that simple, we need people like me here talking about it. Oh, it hurts. Because everyone could be doing it easily. Also, if y'all have any questions, man, don't be afraid to ask the questions, because it seems to be sometimes that new traders feel like they should be right off the rip. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was the same way. And my first time coming in here, when me not asking any questions, that's when I ended up quitting, because I felt like I was so nervous to be wrong that I was never right. Which, again, that sounds backwards. It sounds like, okay, if you just have if you don't know, just ask the question. It sounds so simple, but it don't be happening that way. So if you guys have any questions, I know most people will hit me up on the side and be like, hey, what do you mean by this? Or what do you mean by that? Instead of dropping it in the chat. The reason why we say drop it in the chat is because if you have the question as a person who doesn't know, somebody else might have that same question. And you don't know until you ask it. Let me see what we got on here. Might have something forming up on here, but let me come right back to this in a second. So also, you guys, a couple of weeks ago, when was this? This was before Christmas. I told you guys to get in the EU sell, which was like right here at this point, and played around for a little bit. But it's a nice little ugly head and shoulders. This right shoulder is way higher than the left shoulder is, but it was the head and shoulders nonetheless. It pushed up 27 pips negative, and then proceeded to drop 70 plus pips. Like, that's how they get you. That's how they fake you out. That's why you got to hold tight with your analysis, because if you set a stop loss and price doesn't get the stop loss, or if your stop loss is, man, I don't want to go more than negative 30 pips, and then you see price at negative 27 pips. If it don't hit negative 30 pips, don't close that trade out. And the reason why I say that is, yes, you're saving yourself 3 pips. But at that point where you're down 27 pips, what is the 3 pips? Let them 3 pips do their thing. Take that, eat that 3 pips. If you're going to lose that trade on your analysis, and don't lose that trade because you got out because of fear. Getting out because of fear definitely will mess you up. When you draw your daily line, you usually draw it once the day over price is sitting. No, I draw my daily lines on a daily time frame. That's where they come from. It has nothing to do with the time of day it is. It's all about the time frame I draw my lines of support and resistance on, and my trend lines on too. Now, how that works is, let me get off EU real quick. But what I see possibly forming up in EU real quick before I get back to you, Chris, what I see possibly forming up on here is, look at this. Okay, we got a potential Gartley on here. But what I don't like about this is, yeah, this C point is right at a daily level right here. See the black line? This is a daily level of resistance. What I don't like about this is, if I fib from a hypothetical A to B, that price is right in the middle of 618 and 786. Now, I'm not saying that price doesn't make a move there sometimes, but I don't like it. I'd rather it be at one or the other. But technically, your entry zone for your C leg is all this whole box right here, from 618 to 886. Oops. To 886 right there. That's technically your C leg, your C point. That's legit. But I just don't like it because it's like not flat at that 618, but it's also at a daily level of resistance. So we'll see what happens. We get this one time to develop. So for all we know, it could push up higher, or it could decide to make its drop down right now, start heading down here. Now, what Chris asked was, Chris says, when you draw your daily lines, do you usually draw it once the day is over with and price is sitting? Nope. What I do is I draw them on a daily time frame. So what I do is, how naked is this chart? Let me see what I got all on here. A lot of crap. So what we'll do is, look how long this is been trending down on Euro USD. It's been trending down for a long time. But same thing on AUD USD. GBP USD not doing so much. I got lines all over these things. Okay, so NZD USD, I draw on this one because this joint is messy anyway. This pattern right here already lived, it's already died, it's dead, it's did its thing. I got trend lines everywhere on here. So I'm gonna erase this whole chart. Bam, it is erased. 'tis gone. So my simple explanation of support and resistance and these diagonal trend lines is I always draw my support and resistance first. I know some people don't do it at all. Some people like to just have their chart be butt naked like this. Like ain't nothing on here, but I see a move coming. I ain't one of them people. Like if you come to my job, my desk be messy as heck, but my desk at home is perfectly cleared off. Like I can have a messy desk at work, know where everything is at, but I cannot have a messy desk at home. That's real like that. I like having a messy house, so I can't have a messy desk at home. But same difference. If my charts get crazy and convoluted, it's because I understand why everything is on there. But if someone who hasn't seen it before, they'd be like, why the heck is there lines everywhere? Someone said it's like laser tag before. But you know, they get the point, man. They get the point. So what I do on my daily chart, my daily time frame, it's on the D up there. Daily time frame, grab me a nice black line right here, and look for my points where price has just been, you know, wicking and tapping. So an area like this, we have a bunch of wicks in the same spot. That's a nice level for a daily line right there. You see it? And that's almost like the perfect divide between this upper part and the lower part. Like this is all the support that it had. And then everything under that is resistance. So right now, this is actually a major level of resistance right here. You see it? How everything is under this? I made this one yellow. That's green. Oh well. I made this one green. Bam. So instead everything's under this. This is all resistance. This is all support. I probably should have flipped these colors, but you guys get the point. So I'll go through on my daily time frame and do that to every point, not every point, but for the most major points where I see price has been tapping. So for instance, right here, I have a lot of touches on that. Now, per standard, all you need is 2 touches to make a trend or level of support resistance legit. I prefer to have like 5 or 6 or even 10. I don't care if there's 100 taps in there. I want as many taps as possible because it's just showing me that price really is respecting that zone. So for instance, right here too, you see this right here, how you have like prices kind of hit the brakes in this area. Now I can drop this line here, or I could have dropped it further down here. Now I can bet you if I drop this one further down here, this is probably more of a 4-hour level right here. See my mouse is at? I'm looking it back and forth. But I just dropped it right above it, and you see how you got respect right there, respect all over here in the past, and you got respect in the future. So again, this is a nice level of support and resistance just based on how price respects those levels. Look at that. Drop one line, get 15 answers on it. That's how you know your levels of support and resistance be on point. When you go through and you see that just like respect all over. So now that I have that, I can go and do another one. And the thing on this too, again, is we're not trying to do every single level. We're just doing major levels because if not, your chart going to be a mess. And you don't want to be a mess. Unless you can read a messy chart, you don't want your chart to be a mess. Mine ended up being a mess because what I ended up doing is going on there and looking at a smaller time frame, looking at a smaller time frame. I'm like, okay, I see something right here. I see something right here. I got a pattern right here. Let me see what I have right here. I end up drawing lines all over these things. But you guys see what I'm going for right here. Again, look at this spot right here. Price hit the brakes right here. Between that price hits the brakes right here, all I did was base my line off this spot, and look what I have to the left of it. All of this respect of that same line. It's really just that simple of drawing support and resistance. Like it makes life way easier when you do it that way. And put it at the high point up there. And let me see what else I got. I do not draw any lines on the weekly because I don't trade anything on a weekly because it will take a year literally to finish. And I don't have time for all that. It's too long to wait for a trade to finish. A whole year? Let's do some super swing trading. So let me see. I'm gonna drop one more. It'll be right here. And you see, this literally this first peak touched it, and then right there, and then it came back to it. So you see how price just repeats itself over and over and over, coming back to these same points and doing the same moves. Let me erase these boxes out first. I don't need you. Oops, not that one. So now what I can do, now from here, I can start drawing diagonal trend lines, or I can drop down to my 4-hour and draw my 4-hour level of support and resistance, which are literally gonna be set up the same way as my daily. Now what I try to do is, even on a 4-hour, I don't wanna draw every single line that's on there. I wanna draw the major ones. So I'm going to actually do the daily and the 4 hour. I'm not going to do 1 hour yet. I'm going to do the daily and 4 hour. Then I'm going to drop down, go back to the daily and do my diagonal trend line so I can show you guys how these incorporate, how these play. Now, you know what's funny is looking at this real quick. Okay, I get sidetracked real quick, so give me a second. Looking at this, first thing I saw in this just now, look at this head and shoulders on here. Look at that. It's inverted, but it's there for sure. Look at that head and shoulders action right there. You can't ask for easier head and shoulders than that right there. Let me adjust this first point. And again, I know you can have head and shoulders that's like all over here and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. I always draw mine like this because it says, I understand now. You draw your support and resistance line on your daily chart. Yeah, and then I go down to my 4 hour, and I do it on a 4 hour also. My 4 hour is always gold, just so I know the difference between my daily lines and my 4 hour lines. I go down my 1 hour, do the same thing. So I draw on the 1 hour chart, my lines of support and resistance will be green. So I know that it hasn't been drawn on the daily or the 4 hour. I just know it was drawn on the 1 hour. Now, what I was saying about this support and resistance real quick. Look at this level that I just drew this on. Basically, the head and shoulders was under this daily level right here. Now, my end goal on this would have been up here in this general area where it started from. 350 pips, god dang. But if you were to just like simply bought off of this zone right here, you'd have came off with a bag, a 300 pip bag off of that, just off this head and shoulders right there. Price went right back where it came from. And again, I didn't draw this perfectly on here, but you guys see what happened. Price made a left shoulder, came down to resistance, made a higher point, which is the head, came down to resistance, made a right shoulder, and then finally busted through and took off. That's like a perfect head and shoulders right there. Let me erase that though, because this ain't we talking about. So 4 hour, my line would now be gold. And what I'm doing is same thing. Look for same points again where price just kind of hit the brakes. You'll see more points because it's a smaller time frame, so you see more wicks on it. So looking at this point right here where price hit the brakes at, if I drop a line right here, bam, you see how they go. It looks so tiny. Okay, there you go. I don't like that. I'll make this like that. Oh no, that's worse. Okay, like that. So you guys see, just off that one level right there, I actually can adjust this. I can actually pull this up a little bit. I'll put this right here. I like that one better. So you guys see how price tapped. This line kind of hard to see, but look at the respect on that line right there. So this 4 hour line is based off that. And the same thing can be done on the 1 hour. Just looking for points where price hit and turn around at. And I can bet you all in here, there's a lot of 1 hour support in here. Because I can see what points where price has been stopping and hitting the brakes. Now let me go to the left some more. And I can draw lines probably all in here. What I'm gonna actually do is just to make this quicker, so I'm gonna drop some lines, bam, right there. You guys see it again. I dropped this based on this, on those 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 little peak in the middle right there. But if you drag this way to the right, you'll see that there's respect all throughout here. So like even the little point at this where the price is respecting it. And all over here, price is respecting that level. That's a good 4 hour level right there. So same thing can be done up here. Bam, look at that. Look at the respect on that. I'm not gonna go through and draw a green box again, but you guys see the respect on that level. You guys see what it's going for. So I can do the same thing again right here off that peak. Like I literally drew this line off this peak and look to the left and the right. Look at that. You see that? Same line. That's literally how that works. You're just looking for these major levels on here. You don't have to draw every single one, but the major ones are the ones that are important. Probably can drop one right here too. You see how this peak is right here? Now this is another head and shoulders right here. You see this shoulder? This is the left shoulder, found support, made a head, and then a right shoulder, which was way higher, but I mean, same difference. It did this thing. But let me actually erase that. You see that's a head and shoulder right there too. And it went all the way back down to where it came from. Now I can bet you that's a major dip. Let me see. I'm definitely on the wrong thing. Let's see how big this dip was. From the top of this shoulder, we'll just say right here. It's a 500 pip dip. I mean, that rhymed with accident, but you guys see what I mean. Let me see. Okay, that's enough 4 hour lines. So now that I did that, I can go now. Just imagine I did 1 hour too. I'm not gonna go do all the 1 hours because I've been on here talking almost an hour yet. You guys probably tired of me talking about diagonal support, resistance, and trend lines. But for example purposes, I'm going to draw these diagonal trend lines real quick, and what I base them off, and why I usually have so many on here. Now, let me go to my trend line, which is, you guys see it right here, trend line. I got mine starred. So, oh yeah, by the way, if you guys star your favorite tools in TradingView, I don't know if you guys know this or not. If you star your favorite tools on here, like I said, with star on my fib, star your favorite tools, it makes this little box right here. You can actually turn it on and off. It's basically your favorites box. So you have a quick access to that. So you see when I go in here, I have this little floating tab right here. It's because these are my favorite tools I use the most. And I have presets on them and stuff like that. So if I go to draw a diagonal trend line, that's not a preset, but I can now go to my presets and be like, okay, it's a 4-hour trend line. It already changed it how I want it set already. But yeah, you guys see the point of that. So now I want a daily time frame. I'm going to take my line that's called just a bar. My just a bar line is a black line that it's not extended either direction, just so I can draw it the right way I want to, and then I extend it. So I look for points on my charts that, you kind of see price stair-stepping this way up. For instance, this right here could be a trend. I'm just going to grab from here. Actually, I'll grab from here. And see a little stair-step up right there? The one isn't perfect at all by any means. But you guys see how many taps it has on it, right? Remember I said, all you need is 2 touches for a trend to be legit. But look at this. You got 1, 2, 3 right there. You got some in the middle right there. I'm not going to zoom in on there. Some in the middle right there too. You got 1 right there. 1 right there. It's already 5 touches already. 6. That was close. You got 7, 8, 9 at least right there. You have a break and a retest. That's 10 touches on this same little trend line I just drew in there. Let me erase all these boxes on here. So now that I have this, I can either go to my presets and extend this, or I can go to the gear and extend left, extend right. Make this joint thin so you guys can so they extend not too much. So now this right here, look again at this. So I drew this trend line down to here, and look at that perfect respect on the trend line right there. See that hard rejection right there? And this is why I extend them too, because if I didn't extend it, I wouldn't have known that this was respected back here too. And not that respect back there means a lot to the grand scheme of things, but it just shows you how well of a drawn trend line it is. And look right here. This is one of the jump off points of it. You see that? It didn't quite touch there, but it's close enough. Remember, these lines aren't perfectly straight lines. These are more of zones. So that zone right there, basically a jump off point. So yeah, let me erase these boxes. XXX. So now that I have this one trend that I'm going to make pink, so you guys can see that it stands out, I make this pink. This is my daily trend. It's usually black, but I'm making it pink just so it stands out for right now, for example purposes again. I can now take this same one, which is my favorite thing to do. I like to hold down control and copy this just to see what else trend I got. Because usually when you have a nice respected trend line, you can just control and copy it and find more points where that trend line is respected again. So like you see all in here. Look to, I know you guys can't see what I'm looking at right now. I'm actually looking over here at how this was respected. You see it right there? I'm looking over here. I'm looking right there. I know this is all wicking past it, but look right there and look right here in the middle of that. It's just, again, it's just more confirmation that that trend is on point, because look at all the respect on it. Bam. Now, again, that isn't the sexiest one, but you guys get the point. I can take the same one again, drag it up again, did the same thing. Look what I got. All the way back to the far left, jump off point, bam, respect of that same trend line, respect of the same trend line, respect, 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 respect. Look at that. All in there. All up in there. Even more. Respect of the same trend line. In the middle, respect the trend line. And I can bet you, if I zoom in right here, there is a break and retest of this trend line. Let me see. Let's see. I just want to make this box. I'll make a box right here. I'm going to make this box orange just so I know where I'm at. So let me go down to like a 1 hour time frame. I'm going to zoom. I'm going to scroll all the way to the left and see where that box is at whenever this decides to load. Okay. Okay. We're going to the left. Did you get there yet? Hold on. Let me fix that. I didn't do that. Where the heck are these boxes at? You can load now. You can load at some point. What's going on here? Maybe that's too far back in the past. Let's see. How far back did I go? Here it is, orange box. And I was correct. Look at that break and retest right there. You see it? Break, retest, rejection. Off that trend line, like literally, it's just that simple. And what's funny is off that original trend line, which you cannot see on the higher time frame, you got a major break, retest, rejection. These are the same two pink trend lines I just drew. And it shows you again that how price, when you have a trend line that's drawn on point on a higher time frame, on the smaller time frame, you see that price still respects it. Let me, what am I doing? Erasing all these boxes. Box. Get off there. All get off there. Back to the daily. Now, if you're wondering why I have so many trend lines in different directions on my charts, it's because, okay, looking right here, I probably can control and copy this trend line down somewhere through here and it respects it. But you see the trend down here is a little bit different. Like, yeah, I can probably force one in here. Like right here, I can force this in here. You see that the trend still follows it. But let me make a different color line real quick. Let me go to my just the bar again. Oops, not that one. I need to change that one. Let me go to bam. Now let me go to my just the bar. Okay, now I can go down here and draw a different trend. So if I draw from here and just drag this up and see what I got, there's a trend like right here. So let me make this one extended to, I'll make this a daily trend line, but I'll make the color, I'll make it blue. Now this is the new trend I just drew. Now this trend is probably more suited for like this little section down here. Let me control and copy this. Oops, I'm not on it at all. Let me control and copy this trend in either direction and see what I got. And you see it, you got it right here. Jump off point back here. Bam, that's one touch. All those touches right there. Came back to it. I'm looking at the blue one now. Blue trend line right here. Look at all that respect on it. So I mean, it's a new trend there. So I don't have to keep going by that same one. That's why I end up having so many different trend lines on here, because I try to only do 2 trends at a time. But you can literally go through here and on a daily time frame or a smaller time frame and draw different trends just to see where your price is going that a price wants to break at. So let me adjust this real quick and make this one green. That's pretty hard to see. Let me make this one a darker green. Bam. And make it bold so you guys see what I'm talking about. So I just drew this trend right here just now. You see this trend, jump off point right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 5 touches on this trend. Go back in the past. Look what I have back here on the left. I mean, these one circles. Look at that. I wasn't even looking over here. But look at that. Jump off point. When I say jump off point, I mean the point where this trend actually starts at. So look at that. You see that? All the respect on this green trend line I just drew. And this is how you can end up with so many trends on here, because they're like nonstop. It's like, I don't know who makes this algorithm for trading, but there's all kind of trends going on at the same time. And again, I can bet you if I control and copy, I actually click on it, control and copy this trend line, there's more respect on it. Look at that. Look at that there. Meaning, look in here. Respect on that trend line. Respect on that whole ride up of that trend line. Look at that break. Look at that retest and rejection of that trend line right here. This is your break, your retest, rejection of that new trend I drew. So this is how I end up having so many trends on here, because look at all, the pink line was the original one I drew. The blue line was the second trend I drew. The green line was the third trend I drew. Probably can draw a trend coming down too. All these were here just upward trends. Probably can draw a trend line coming down too, but just shows you that, like, no matter how you slice it, some people say 2 things can be true. 2 things definitely can be true on here. And in this little section right here, this green trend is the trend to really ride on, because look at the respect again in this area. I just drew this green line again. Look at that. You're respecting that trend line. You just got to find your trend for, the area you're looking at. Don't just think you just like do the same trend, just try to keep copying it over and over, because trends do change. I got too much crap on here now. But you guys see my point. You see the point I'm going for. Actually, if I drop the trend line, I just dropped right here just now. Look what's going on. Again, jump off point was right there. And respect on it again. If I zoom in on here, you probably will see that there is, drop down to a 4-hour. Look at that. Look at that retest of that trend line right there, all in the middle. Look at that break. Let me erase this blue trend line. It's not getting, this blue arrow is getting too convoluted. There's too much crap. Look right here. Look at this. What do you guys see? A break, a retest, and a rejection off this green trend line, which I just copied from this other green trend line, from the other green trend line. Like, it is respected. This is the trend that is heavily respected on this one. So I go down to a smaller time frame. You guys can see even more clear how this trend line just copied over is heavily respected. Look at that break and retest right there. Again, I was pointing at this one earlier. Look at this one. Break, retest, hard rejection. Now, do you guys have any questions on why I do these trend lines or how they even work with all this nonsense? Because I know I talked about harmonics in the beginning. I showed you guys the head and shoulders. I showed you guys these trends. I kind of showed you guys the channels of what, like, okay, you guys know what a channel is. It's basically like, not TV, obviously, but it's like this. You guys see this area right here where I have this top trend line, I have a bottom trend line. These two green trend lines right here. That's the top trend line. This is the bottom trend line. Price is stuck in this channel right here, where it's just tapping. It's just like playing pong between these two trend lines, up and down, up and down. That's a chance for you to be hopping in, buying, selling, getting money while price is in the channel. And price does this on an even smaller time frame, over and over. I probably can draw a quick little channel on any of these, like right here. Quick little channel. I'll make this one another different color. I'll make this one dark blue. How price will get stuck in these trends and these quick little channels, like even here, like price is really just riding up, tapping. Every time it's at the bottom, you're buying. At the top, you're selling. It's just doing this over and over and over again. And there's opportunities for you to make money. That little quick little buy right there, 30 pips up, probably 30 pips down, all the way in that channel while it's just riding its way up. And when it finally broke out that channel, and I can probably bet that if I control and copy the same trend line again, that it is respected this way too. I drop it right there. You guys see, jump off point down here. Price came back close to it, but then when price broke through it, what did it do? It went to the next channel, and now it's just ping-ponging all the way up. In a little 30 pip window again, just riding its way up and down, up and down, up and down. Chance for you to make money. Now, when I go to the daily time frame, don't freak out, don't scream, because there's trend line everywhere, and this thing is ugly. But I did all of that just to prove a point that trends can be everywhere. The trend is definitely your friend, but these trends can be everywhere on here. So if you have a different trend than someone else has, it is fine, because two things, and in this case, 5 things can be true at the same time. All of these trends are legit trends that are on here. Like they're all legit on this on different time frames. And I actually drew all these different trends on the daily time frame, but this is just how they work. I didn't even draw a trend coming this direction, because one can be drawn here too. You guys see that? And I can control and copy this. So that's what I'm showing you guys. Control and copy this down too, and it does the same thing, like literally the same thing. Look at this jump off point up here. Bam, look at that. Right there. And all right there, respect right there, respect all through here and down there. So again, 2 things can be true. In this case, 10 things can be true. But with that being said, if you guys don't have any questions, I am hopping off this joint. I'll see you guys in chat. This will actually be uploaded this week. I'm not going to be lazy. I'll actually upload this stuff this week. So if you guys will have any questions about all these trend lines that I just covered, in patterns I covered, in the head and shoulders, and the Gartley in the back, and all that stuff, hope you guys got some value out of this. Chris said, great class. I definitely hope you guys got some value out of this class. And I will see you guys in the group chat, and I will also see you guys on Thursday at 8 p.m. Y'all be easy.